Good evening, everyone. Welcome in. In today's video, we are going to talk about ways that Dollywood could be even better. So normally we make our videos in the park, but Dollywood is now closed for the season. So we thought, okay, Dollywood's closed, but that doesn't mean we can't continue to make Dollywood content. So here we are. So ways that Dollywood can be even better. What do you think? What are some ways Dollywood can be even better?
Well, obviously, Dollywood is our home park. It's an amazing place. We love it so much. But kind of over the last few months, we've found little things here and there that we think would honestly make a huge difference. So the first one is host shout outs on the app. So we also love going to Disney as well, and they have cast member kind of appreciation type deals where you can go on their app and kind of tell the experience you had with a cast member. And so we think it'd be pretty awesome if Dollywood would do that as well. We've come across many times that the hosts have gone above and beyond for us in particular, or we've seen them do that for other people. And it would just be so awesome if Dollywood would add that to their app. The most recent example, we took some photos with our photo pass the second to last trip we were on, and we got most of those, but a few of those didn't show up. And so our last visit to Dollywood, we went up to the photo kiosk, and one of the ladies there was super awesome. She went back to the week prior and found those photos for us. And that's something that she didn't have to do. And it took her a while to do it. And so we were just expressing how thankful we were for that. And so it would have been awesome to be able to go on the app and kind of give her like a, hey, thanks for doing that for us. That way, maybe, she would be acknowledged by her, manager or kind of get a pat on the back that she deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of makes me think if you're in that situation where you go to the park, you take photos, and you happen to not have those included when you go to download. I believe as long as you tell the staff there within 30 days or so, they should be able to track those down for you. But as far as the topic of the host shout outs go, um, Dollywood's already got the app, so I think it would be super easy to just be able to add that as a feature. And all you would really need is just a form, the host name, maybe the part of the park that they were working in. Just something kind of like Bree said, something like Disney, just to kind of tie all that information together and let the host get the
Be
compliment that
yeah,
they deserve.
be
For sure.
appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the next one we've kind of been thinking about throughout the season is an all season time saver pass.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are several parks. The one that's kind of in my head right now that I can think of is Kings Island. My brother has a season pass there, so he's actually been able to use that in the past. Now, the first thing for the all season, I guess for Dollywood, it would be an all season time saver pass. So you go to the park right now, and for one day, they have different price tiers. I think it's like 60, 80, and like $100. Um, Whereas at Kings Island, for an all season fast lane, is what they call them at Kings Island, um, part of the Six Flags parks. So Dollywood, it would be an all-season time saver pass. Now at Kings Island, the price is like, I think it's something like $700. So super expensive. But if you're like us and you're at Dollywood, what, 20, 30 times a year, I mean,
more than pay for itself.
yeah, because if you think about it, if we're going to buy that $100 time saver for one day, I mean, even if let's say we go 25 times in a year, if we use it even 10 of those 25 times, well, I mean, that right there is $1,000. So you're still saving. Certainly understand not everybody's going to fork out $700 for a time saver pass, but just thinking of ways that, again, Dollywood could be better, that could be a good option. Okay, so the next thing that I was thinking about is for each festival at Dollywood, we always have an early ride time, and those dates are usually announced 2 weeks or so maybe even a little closer than that to the start of the festivals. So we thought it'd kind of be nice if, come late February, early March, if Dollywood put out the dates for all of the festival early ride times. And that would just allow everyone to better plan, I think, for the entire year versus, wanting to be able to do that, but then you're not quite sure. You might have a good idea. And it seems like each festival, it's usually that first week, second week, really not any later than that. But I just think it would be kind of nice to have those dates well in advance so you could just kind of plan better.
Right. And so I'm not at the park every single time Adam's there. And so it would be nice for someone like me who, obviously I do have a pass and I want to take advantage of the early ride time, but I'm not necessarily going to be there maybe every single time. But if I knew in advance that that was the actual date far enough, I could go ahead and plan for that as well. Hopefully they will announce those a little sooner. And again, I'm sure there's a rhyme or reason to why they don't announce them sooner, but it would be kind of nice to know everything a little further in advance. And I guess the only other thing I'd add to that is this year it was super cool that they did the little sticker giveaway every single early ride time. So there's also other perks, even if you don't want to ride anything. There's perks of being in the park early and being able to get whatever giveaway they have. So I will definitely be interested to see what they may give away this coming season. We really thought the sticker collective commemorative stickers
40th
for the 40th,
stickers.
those were super cool. So I'll be interested to see what comes this year.
Yeah, it really was. And Bree had mentioned, so let's say you go and you're not even really caring to do the rides. We did, what was it, Christmas? We walked in and like that first part of Show Street, there was hardly anybody there.
Yes.
So if you go with your family, you want to take some photos, that's a perfect opportunity to be able to do that. So again, it's not just the benefit of getting to ride rides. Your benefit might be, hey, let's go do our family photos, or
right.
if you just want to walk around and see the park, take pictures of the park,
or
just see it.
And just a little more of a chilled environment.
Yeah.
Where it's not so cramped packed in there. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so another thing we were thinking about is the photo process at Dollywood. So if you don't know, you go into the park, you've got a photo spot actually right there before you enter the park, as well as right in front of the Palace Theater. So take a photo, they give you a paper slip. Sometimes it's ready right away, sometimes it's not. So you go throughout the day at the park, a few other photo spots, usually under whatever festival sky they have on Show Street. Go about your day, enjoy your day, come back around to the front. They have the flashbulb photography. It's right there beside the Emporium. You take your paper slip that the photographer gives you. Sometimes you have a line, sometimes you don't. And then they can scan the paper slips, and then it goes into your account if you have the either the single day photo pass or the all season photo pass. All that to say, we know that Disney has a process where you have a magic band, you scan it right when they take your photo, and then it automatically uploads to that. So we're just thinking, that might be a way for Dollywood to cut out needing the paper slips, and then also as the customer, you're not having to stand in an additional line. So just something we thought could make Dollywood even better. Any other thoughts?
Well, we have kind of gotten to know some of the photographers at Dollywood. They're all super great. We love them. I do wish there were more. As a family that goes to theme parks quite often, we do enjoy taking photos together in those environments, especially when we're with some of our more extended family also. So there's been a couple times throughout last season at Dollywood that I would mention to Adam, hey, this would be a great spot for a photographer to be, and there just wasn't anyone there. Now, I'm not really sure as far as employees and how, if they're lacking in employees or not, but either way, there were just a couple of times when we really wish there was a photographer in certain areas that there might not have been at that very time. But also just would highly recommend getting the all season photo pass though, because like Adam said, there's always going to be a couple opportunities for sure at each park day that you can have a photographer take pictures of your family. He'll have to tell you about the price. I think it's like about $100.
Yeah, so that's kind of one thing that I was actually thinking about as you were saying that. So you buy, and I might be a little off on the pricing, but it's close. If you buy the all season photo pass, it's like $90. If you buy it for a single day, it's 60. So if you have a season pass,
it's a no-brainer.
You've pretty much you have to buy the all season photo pass. Now, if you're truly just going, if you buy a 1 day ticket and you're just going for 1 day, then it obviously you're not going to spend the extra $30. But otherwise, seems like a no-brainer to me. Okay, so the next thing on our list, it's fairly simple. Dollywood, please bring the tones back. We miss that group. Super awesome. Obviously, we know the area that they were in no longer exists. That's fine. Find somewhere else for them. We'll take them wherever you'd like to put them.
Yes. And if you're not familiar or never saw the tones, if you're familiar with the group Pentatonics, the a cappella group, they were basically Dollywood's version of that, and they were awesome. They actually were kind of located right as you exit the train. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, they were fantastic. And so please bring them back. All right. So the next thing that we'd like to mention is about on-ride photos. So there are already, I think, 4 coasters in the park that when you ride, you get your on-ride photos. We would love to see those on a couple of the other coasters. So Big Bear Mountain and Mystery Mine, those would be 2 awesome coasters that they could add those to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Mystery Mine would be really cool, like either when you're going up that last shaft, if you will, or maybe somewhere with the twist at the end of the ride. That would be pretty cool. Big Bear Mountain, I'm not sure. I don't know. This is one of those examples. We have this idea, we want it, but I admit now I'm kind of like, maybe this is why they don't have it on Big Bear.
I think as you're coming,
the waterfall,
yeah,
right, that'd be cool.
Now again,
I don't know
technology and water. I don't know, but
right.
Either way, it'd be super cool.
Right, there's got to be somewhere for it. So, or like when you go under the bridge at the end of the ride.
Oh yeah,
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Now again, it might be a weird angle. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that it doesn't seem as if would be a huge expense for somewhere like an amusement park to add an on-ride photo for a couple of extra rides. And if you think about it, it's going to probably make them money if folks buy those photos.
For some people, that might be the difference between buying a photo pass and not. And by the way, speaking of that photo pass, so I didn't mention, we were just talking about taking photos. If you buy that photo pass, either the single day or all season, you also get your ride photos. So you get the ride photos, any photos that a photographer takes. I think that's it. So next on our list is being able, if you're a Diamond Pass holder and you have the cinnamon bread voucher, to be able to redeem those at the resort instead of just at the parks. So I said resort, there's 2 of them. So you have Dreammore and you also have Heartsong. Yeah. So
so we have stayed at I guess each resort this past year. And obviously you can get cinnamon bread there. You can actually get it as room service, which is awesome. We do highly recommend that. Yes. They bring you plenty of icing and apple butter, so it's like a sweet deal. But it would just be awesome to be able to redeem your cinnamon bread there. So, again, occasionally Adam will be at Dollywood. I'll be out in Pigeon Forge shopping or doing something else. And it would be super awesome if I could just, pop into one of the resorts and get cinnamon bread. Who doesn't love cinnamon bread at all times of the day?
Especially when you can get it easier like that. So,
yes. Yeah. So it just, again, doesn't seem like it would be a huge change for them to make. And it's a win for us for sure.
Right. Yeah. No, I was just thinking, so like not only be able to redeem it at a resort, but you mentioned getting the room service for breakfast, if you could redeem it even that way as well. Because I got to say, as somebody that we've done that before, so they literally have like a card that you place on the door. You can fill it out the night before. I think they tell you to fill it out by
a certain time.
I don't know what time it was. But you fill it out the night before, place it on the door, and then they just bring it to you the next morning or whatever. If you could do it that way. And they do. We got like what was it, like 2 things of icing, 2 things of
cups
apple butter.
Apple butter, yeah.
I mean, it's a heck of a deal. So, oh, and by the way, I think we forgot to do this, but if you are new here, my name is Adam. This is my wife, Bree, and you're watching Adam's Adventures.
And we're glad you're here. So thank you. We hope you like and subscribe.
Yep.
So you can see any future content. You'll always most likely see Adam more than me. I pop in every now and again, but thank you for being here, and we hope you stick around.
So our next thing is better coffee options at Dollywood. So we've had a little bit of a discussion about this on Facebook, and if you've left some comments, thank you for doing that. But we've also learned that it seems like Bree's talked about wanting a better coffee option, but I don't think she's the only one that wants it. So Dollywood should consider, we think, adding some additional standalone coffee shops. So one thing we talked about was that Cass Walker's coffee storefront that is right there alongside of Jukebox Junction and the Dolly Parton Experience. Yeah, what do you think? Coffee?
Yeah, so that little area that he's talking about, it's made to look like a coffee shop.
Right.
It could be an office, it could be
we don't know
a janitor's closet.
Yeah.
We really don't know what it is, but it would be a perfect place to have an actual coffee shop there. I think I'm an avid coffee drinker, have been for a long time, and I just don't think Dollywood is up to par on that. They do serve just regular Starbucks coffee, just regular roasted coffee, and it's okay, but it's definitely nothing to write home about. And I really feel like Dollywood could hit a home run with an actual coffee shop. I think a lot of amusement parks, of course, I know we've mentioned Disney a couple of times, but they have an actual Starbucks in Disney and Joffrey's coffee as well. And so those places, as you know, you can really get about anything you want. And I'm not even asking for, top-notch coffee, just something with a little bit more of a variety. I mean, quite literally, you're just getting black coffee at Dollywood right now. And so, and again, just as Adam mentioned, this was put in by multiple people on his Facebook that they want better coffee. And so, again, as somebody who doesn't ride everything at Dollywood, and sometimes I like just sitting and like people watching. Sometimes I take a book to read, which I know sounds insane, but it would be nice to enjoy a nice cup of coffee at Dollywood, enjoy the scenery, eat some cinnamon bread, that sort of thing. So I think
coffee and cinnamon bread, now I admit
perfect pairing.
I don't
in
drink
my opinion.
coffee. I don't know anything about coffee. Actually, it's kind of funny just listening to Bree talk about this. I'm just like, I'll take your word for it because I don't know. You said Starbucks. Where can you get Starbucks at? Like the bakery? And
yes. To be honest with you, I don't know where else. I guess I'm sure there's other places that I don't know.
Assume, yeah.
But that also,
or at least regular coffee
again,
offerings.
As Adam said, we're at Dollywood all the time. And that should speak volumes to you that I don't even know where else you can get coffee except for the bakery, because I usually don't get it at Dollywood because it's not great.
Okay.
So I will be hopeful that will get better in the future.
Yeah. So, yeah, let us know. Leave a comment if you know where Starbucks is other than just the bakery. Yeah, because like I said, I don't drink coffee. I don't know the first thing about it. Another thing that we think would make Dollywood even better is have more mystery pins, more pin collections. Now, I will say, and this is maybe a good time to bring this up, this list that we've made, we started this back at the start of the 2025 season. So just like me talking about the pins, I'm going to say as probably the last 2 to 3 months, I noticed that they did start to add some more pin sets. So I think maybe they're already doing this. Haven't seen any mystery pin boxes, but they definitely do have a few sets out there. I know I've seen them at the Emporium. They're probably at other places as well. But Bree's more of a pin person than I am, so I'll let you speak to this one a little bit.
Yeah, so just like Adam said, this list has been months in the making, and so it's funny. We'll mention a few other things in the next few minutes that we had on our list, but Dollywood's kind of already
one big one
taken a hold of those.
Yeah.
And so, but with the pins, it's just something fun to do. I think kids really enjoy like pin trading also.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'd just be cool again for Dollywood to have maybe like mystery pin sets that come out maybe every month, or when special events happen, like those early ride times, maybe they could have like a special pin set that you could buy that day or something. But it's just a cool little collector's item. Again, I think kids would enjoy pin trading. I enjoy that as well. Again, something that we typically do at Disney, but hopefully Dollywood will keep coming with the pins. I think they've done pretty well so far, and I'll be again looking forward to what they may come out with.
Yeah, and one thing that I was just thinking about, we were talking about those collectible stickers earlier for the 40th.
Mm-hmm.
What if those would have been pins?
That would have been super cool. Yeah. We do have a few. Adam has some of the coasters at Dollywood right now, and so they're just, again, a cool little souvenir to have. And so we'll see what happens in the future.
Right. Speaking of the coaster pins, we need a Dragonflyer coaster pin. Mm. They pretty much have it for every other coaster. There was one certain size, or I think the ones that I was collecting were the ones where you can move the coasters along the pin, if that makes sense. But they didn't have one for Dragonflyer.
All right. So the next thing that we have kind of talked about throughout the season is Dollywood having special or additional pass holder only events. So Adam's going to talk a little bit more about that.
Right. Yes, I've got two. And we did both of them this past year. So one was, it was this past year, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So it all runs together, guys. When you love Dollywood and you go so much, you're like, hey, which season was this? But
it's really our second home. Truly.
It really is. But this was back, I believe, in February of 25. Yes. So it seems like every year Dollywood offers some kind of pass holder event at the resort. So this past February, we got to do a tour of the suite that Dolly Parton stays in when she's in town at Dreammore. So that was really neat to see. It's what do you remember about the suite? The one thing I remember was the gold-plated shower like that. If you have not seen that, if you get the chance, you've got to go check that out. And I'll try to post some of this on Facebook at some point in the near future, so you guys can see that. I posted, I think, back in February, but you can't. You know how Facebook is. Once you see it and it's a few days out, you're never going to see it again. So, but yeah, there was that, and then also early ride times. Mm-hmm. Those are Passholder-exclusive events as well. I think one thing that we're going to get as pass holders this year coming up will be, hopefully. Well, actually, I know for sure the early rides for Night Flight Expedition. So if you renewed your Diamond Pass during the early renewal period, then you're supposedly going to get the first rides on Night Flight Expedition,
which is super exciting. Yeah, we're stoked for
Cannot
that for
wait
sure.
for that one. Okay, so the next thing I've got does tend to be a little controversial, so I'm going to just get right to the point on this one. Opening day, pass holder day. So the way it's worked in the past is the first day, which is typically a Friday, is a pass holder day. What happens is pass holders are able to use their bring a friend tickets, which I'll be honest, I know there's some people that are, they're on one side or the other. I'm kind of neutral. I mean, my only issue is what you're calling it. If you're going to call it pass holder day, just make it for pass holders. If you just want an opening day, then, just let everybody come, which to that point, so to be clear, I don't really care, but, but to that point, but I also understand why people would care.
Yes.
And why people wouldn't care. But anyway, so to that point this year, Dollywood is just simply doing an opening day on the Friday that is normally pass holder day. Now, do we know if Dolly's going to be there? Will there be a parade? Will there be any other special events? We're not sure. They haven't mentioned any of that yet. Will there be a media day? We just don't know at this point. That information hasn't been put out. But one thing that I was kind of thinking is, and I think there's some other theme parks that do this, because I'm not smart enough to come up with this, so I'm sure that I've seen this somewhere. But one idea would be, say on a Thursday, let's do a pass holder day for diamond and gold pass holders. And then Friday, let's do a pass holder and bring a friend ticket day. Go ahead and do that. And that way you kind of give everybody a little piece of the pie. And then Saturday, just have your normal opening day. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I feel like I'm opening a can of worms here, but leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that.
I personally think it should just be pass holders only for a single day before the park opens. Again, I think that would be an awesome perk of having an actual season pass. And I'm saying that as somebody who in the past, we have not always bought our daughter a season pass. And so it would just be a day where, him and I could have, parent time. We can go to the park and enjoy our season pass holder day. But we'll see. It seems like Dollywood's changing it up this year. We'll see how it goes. One other thing that seems to be an issue, like on pass holder day in years past, is that, of course, the park is very full, and that's great. Honestly, I love to see it like that. But the food lines are insane. And so, it's a lot when you're trying to feed your family, feed yourself. And it just makes for a little bit more of a chaotic day. So it would be nice to have that just singular day where only pass holders can come. Maybe it'll be just slightly less chaotic, and you could, get things rolling for the new season. But like Adam said, I'm cool either way. We're most likely going to be there regardless, hopefully, Lord willing. But we'll see. Again, like you said, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the topic.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we would be there no matter what. I don't care if it's shoulder to shoulder. I don't care if, there's 100 people in the park. We love Dollywood. And that's one thing about this video. Again, we're just throwing out our ideas to make
Right.
Dollywood even better. Dollywood's already great. It would be great whether any of these things ever come to fruition. So
yeah, this is us just
we're
speaking our wishes out loud, more or less.
Yeah, we're just two normal people just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah.
Hey, let's throw this out there and see if it sticks. So next thing is we'll talk about not really restaurants, but a part of a restaurant. And I think this is something else people have talked about, so nothing new, but more covered seating. So the Wilderness Pass restaurant that opened this year, great restaurant, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to try it, super good. Price-wise, it's like, $25 or something for an entree. So a little more pricey than some of the other restaurants, but it's good. So if you don't mind spending the money, then I would recommend it. Obviously, if it's more of a budget thing, then there's other good options as well. But the reason I bring that up is there is plenty of seating, but it's tables with umbrellas, which is better than no umbrellas at all, honestly. But when you get into those really hot days or colder days toward the end of the season, it would be nice to kind of have something like, Miss Lillian's, where you have like the tarps that you can kind of pull down and trap heat.
And Till and Harvest as well.
Till and Harvest has it, yep.
An enclosed building, but it's a a covered area where you're out of the elements.
Right.
And obviously when it's raining as well, and Adam will tell you, sometimes when it's raining, best time to go to Dollywood.
For coasters, now obviously if it's pouring rain, you're not going to ride coasters, but those days where it's just a little bit of rain, I rode every coaster in the park in under 2 hours one time. So not to get on that topic.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get us off topic.
But yeah, it's a great time to do that.
Yeah, but if it is raining and you need a place to be and you want to feed your family, it would be nice to have a few more covered areas that aren't just an umbrella. And like you said, an umbrella is great. It's going to hopefully keep you out of the elements, but
Well, I just think when the sun's out, it'll,
right,
if nothing else, it'll help maybe not get a sunburn. All right, so we have a few more, and then we're going to get to some things that you all suggested out in Facebook. We had kind of threw up a question, wanting you guys to tell us some things that would make Dollywood even better. So we're going to get to that, but I got a couple more. One, and this kind of goes back to what we were saying about we made a list earlier in the year. So one thing we had was extended ride times as well as after hours events for the summer and fall. And then lo and behold, Dollywood announces, what was it, a month, 2 months ago, something, maybe longer, maybe not, I'm not sure. But Harvey's Boo Bash is coming this fall. So
you're so excited.
Yeah, because to us, that's going to be like Dollywood's version of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
Yes.
So we are super excited about that. Can't recall a lot of the details just right off the top of my head, but I do know it's a separate ticketed event. It'll be from 9 p.m. to midnight on, I want to say it's like October 16th, 23rd, and 30th, whatever those last 3 Fridays in October are. And then I think we're going to get some kind of after hours event over at Splash Country as well for the summertime. So it sounds like, maybe a DJ. And this is speculation, but we were actually talking the other day. I saw somewhere where they were talking about all the festivals for this year. And for the summer, I seen the fireworks, but I didn't see any mention of the dance party, which seems really strange. But I did see mention of a new dance party coming for the fall time for Harvest Festival, Great Pumpkin Luminites. But my theory, and that's all it is at this point, I have nothing to go off of other than just reading between the lines. The dance party might end up at Splash Country. So if you've seen any details about that, let me know, because I am kind of curious. Because honestly, the dance party in Wildwood Grove, I really like it for the summertime. So if it ends up at Splash Country, I get it. But I just feel like that's been so popular in Wildwood Grove. So I would hate to not see it there. But it sounds like worst case, we're going to get a dance party in the fall time. So got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we have been blessed to go to a couple of the like the Disney after hours parties or
Halloween
events.
and Christmas.
So we actually did the Halloween party this year, and then last year in 24 we did the Christmas party.
Yep.
And those are awesome events. They have special food, they have special merchandise, things like that. So it sounds like with Harvey's Boo Bash, I'm not sure about the Splash Country event, but the Harvey's Boo Bash, it sounds like there are going to be like specialized merchandise. There's going to be special foods. And so I'm super stoked that they're kind of sort of in line with what Disney's doing. So I think Dollywood could really hit this one out of the park, and I hope they do. We will be there hopefully on the first night.
As long as we can get those tickets. So we're still not sure how limited the tickets will be. And the one thing missing is a parade. Now, we've heard some of the logistical challenges of a parade at Dollywood. Totally get it. But I don't care about logistics. I want a Halloween parade. I want a Christmas parade too.
So he's gone rogue at this point.
Yeah, the Dollywood fan in me, I want my parade. As someone that understands the logistical side of it, totally get it. But maybe one day. Okay, so the last thing on our list is we would like to see some kind of dedicated walkway from the parking lot A and B area up to the tram stop. Now, I will say, again, logistically, I'm not quite sure how this could work, because you've got to have the handicap spaces that you have in parking lot A. So there's no option for taking those spots away to make a walkway. I don't know if you could do it along fencing, maybe somewhere like if you're walking in the park, maybe that left-hand side. I don't know, if that's an option, but just from a standpoint of like, I always feel like when we're walking through there, like there's been times where I feel like, well, if I walk through, I'm holding cars up, and it's just, I don't know, just like to see a walkway. What do you think?
So if you're not as familiar with Dollywood, They do have a tram system, so whatever parking lot you're in, there should be a tram stop. You get on the tram, they take you to the front. As Dollywood's gotten more crowded, in my opinion, this also means that you're waiting longer on a tram. Mm-hmm. So there is the option of walking to the front of the park in all of the parking lots except for E, which is their Splash Country parking.
Yeah, you ain't walking from there.
That's
you could
quite a bit of time.
But
and I think they actually encourage you not to do that just based on where that parking lot is.
Yeah, it's probably not safe.
Right.
So if you're in E, honestly, regardless of how long you have to wait, it's just the safest bet.
Yes.
So.
But again, we say all of that to say we find ourselves walking to the front of the park quite often, which we're fine with. And honestly, from health standpoint, we probably need that. And it's also quicker. The only problem is from a safety standpoint, it's a little
in that
scary.
A area for sure.
Yes, in just A and B. So let me preface everything with that. A and B is the very front parking lot that's closest to the park, and it's mainly handicap parking, which of course we know they need, and it should be there. But that's the only parking lot that doesn't have a specified walking path, if you will. And so I think from a safety standpoint, it just would be nice if they could add something. And like Adam said, I'm not sure logistically if there's space for that.
All right, so now let's get to some of the questions that you guys threw out there. So I had posted on Facebook, I said, how could Dollywood be even better? Your answer could be featured in one of our upcoming videos. So here's our upcoming video. So I'll just start going through these. Obviously, we got a great response. So thank you to each and every one of you that left a comment. I did try to go back and answer each of those. I think I've got them all answered. If you find that you left a comment that wasn't answered, please comment again. Send me a message, something, because I want to make sure I get to it. We were very blessed to have a lot of responses here. So unfortunately, I won't be able to answer all of those, but we're going to try to just go through. And if it's something that we haven't mentioned or Jonathan Woods had said a coffee shop. So there again, just the coffee.
Right.
And thank you for that comment, Jonathan. Let's see. We have Charles Miller said build an amphitheater and have shows with country legends. Would love to see that.
That would be so cool.
I gotta think, where would you put an amphitheater?
I don't know. I wonder if in the future they may have something over near one of the resorts. Because I'm sure we've heard that there's resort, like a possible campground type resort may be coming. So definitely stay tuned. I think Dollywood may surprise you with what they're going to do with the resorts.
And if not in the park, how cool would that be? Like an amphitheater at one of the resorts. So, and again, another thing, and I'll just throw this out there because we're talking about the resorts. You might know this, you may not. So I'll just throw it out there. As far as the resorts go, you don't have to be a guest at the resorts to go visit the resort. So you can go over, park. They're not going to charge you anything to park or anything like that. Go in, enjoy the resorts.
You can also eat at the restaurants. They're very good.
Yes, good point. The restaurants, you can eat there. You, I think you can make reservations. You don't, to the best of my knowledge, you don't have to make a reservation. You could go in and they could just not have seating just like anywhere else.
One that I know you probably want to touch on, Harley mentioned having an unlimited food pass for the season.
Yes.
So we've seen that a couple of places. Actually saw it on someone else's social media. One of the other content creators, someone had mentioned, because Kings Island and I think some of the amusement parks up north have like an all season food pass.
Yep. Yeah, they do. Yeah, Kings Island for sure does. Yeah, that would be good. We have heard, I want to say Eugene Naughton, president at Dollywood, has mentioned that I think from a logistical standpoint, they're just not in position to offer that at this time. But again, maybe they'll get there. And credit to Dollywood for not throwing something out there, you know,
that they can't fulfill.
Know. Right. Yeah, because I mean, as much as we want to see all these things, if you can't do it the way that you know it needs to be done, then, you know, kudos to them for not charging, you know, us for something that they know isn't going to be top notch. So we appreciate that. But all in due time. So hopefully we'll be able to see that. Okay, so another comment from Bonnie Carricker. I hope I'm saying your last name correct. Gondolas up to the mountain to Wildwood Grove. Man, that would be awesome
That's such a
because,
cool idea.
yeah, like I don't know exactly where you would start the gondola at, but in my mind, the first thing I think about is like just the views, because if you've ever ridden Wild Eagle or Dropline, those views, just looking down on Dollywood, just the park itself, it's just I've yet to see a theme park that's that beautiful, So yeah, so I just having a whole dedicated gondola ride where you could do that, that'd be awesome.
And as I'm rereading your all's comments, it is pretty across the board. People are mentioning pass holder day being truly a pass holder day. And again, everybody's going to have their own opinion on that, but it seems pretty true across the board. Everybody's kind of brought that up at some point.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of in agreement on what we want. So we gotta get Dollywood to do it. Let's see. Sharon Woodward had said 2 trains and bring the show back, maybe add a stop. I would love to see that. I think again that's another logistical thing. If Dollywood can figure out how to do that, I think their concern is the loading, unloading of the train, just the time it takes. That could kind of be an issue. But if they can figure out the logistics of these things, because I look at it the other way, I think, man, so 2 trains, that's twice as many people you could load and have train rides,
which would be awesome.
So it really would. Yes, if they can figure that out, that would be great.
All right. So Lauren had mentioned as a toddler mom needing a space where your kid can kind of go have a quiet moment. We've all been there when our kids are having a tantrum and they just need a second. And so, that sometimes sadly those can make or break your day, especially when you're around a ton of people.
We've seen it make or break days.
Yes, unfortunately, our own. But anyhow, it seems like maybe Dollywood could, in the future, if they could add a spot for kids to go just have some quiet time, or for moms and babies to just be there. Again, families could be in a similar situation to Adam and I, where maybe the mom doesn't want to ride coasters, but she wants to be at Dollywood for the atmosphere, and then the dad takes the other kids to go ride coasters or whatever the case may be. But I think it seems like Dollywood could add a spot maybe in the future, or have areas where kids can kind of be in more of like a quiet environment for a short period of time.
Right. So the next comment, and I will say I love this one. This one's from Connie Loyal. So create a relaxation senior type area. Love that idea.
That's cool.
Some of the ideas are massage chairs, a sit-down posh restaurant. Love that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Spa treatments, golf cart type transportation to and from the entrance exit. Yeah, that is great.
Yeah.
And this is why I like throwing these questions out there, because I would have never thought of that. That is an awesome idea. So yeah, thank you, Connie, for that comment. That is awesome. Okay, and then the last one that I'll read, it's from Christy Casey. Pass holder only lane at the parking booths. Love the idea of that. I think if Dollywood could figure out a way to make that work, the parking booths already, it's kind of, if you guys, and you do, when you go to the parks, you know how chaotic that can be. Just like you go in and you're in 3 lanes that quickly turns into like 10,
8 or
12.
10, yeah.
So
crazy.
If they could figure out how to do, personally, I think they might need more than just one pass holder lane, because we were kind of talking before we sat down to do this, and it's like, if you had a day where, because the one thing about it, we don't ever know how many pass holders are in the park each day.
Right.
Are there days, and I'm just throwing out numbers, I truly don't know, are there days where it's 50-50, is half the park pass holders? Because if that's the case, it'd be like, well, and I guess this is assuming you would force pass holders to use the pass holder lane. I mean, right. I guess there's nothing to say you couldn't just use a regular lane if you're a pass holder. But if you're truly thinking pass holder lanes for only pass holders, that could get hairy, real
That's
quick,
true.
and that might actually hurt you more than it would help. But I don't know. I kind of think about it like these car washes, right? You have the little membership or whatever, and you can use that
Nice.
dedicated lane, but you can also use the other lanes too. So I think that's kind of what we're getting at, is having that lane as an option, but you can also use the other
Right.
ones as well. Really, with that, I guess the only other thing I would say is, like, if you had a pass holder lane, you're not paying for parking because you truly know everybody's just scanning their pass to
Right.
get through.
It would streamline things, I really feel
Right.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, yeah, thank you, Christy, for that question.
All right. So, just in closing, the two things I hope that we see in the future, number one is better coffee at Dollywood. That is a huge win in my book. So, hopefully, we will see that coming down the pike at some point. And then also the after hours events. Again, I think Dollywood's already kind of getting that ball rolling. So it would excite my heart so much if Dollywood ever had like an after hours Christmas party type of event. So again, we're super stoked at the Harvey Boo Bash event
Yep.
coming up and the Splash Country event. So stay tuned. Adam will be covering those, Lord willing.
Yep.
But also just thank you for being here, and we look forward to hopefully doing more videos like this one.
All right, and I think that's about everything that we had. I can't think of anything else for ways that Dollywood could be even better than it already is, and it really is. We can sit around and we can have these fun, conversations.
Right.
If this, if that. The reality is they could do absolutely none of this, and
It'd
not
be okay.
not being biased. I mean, I guess we are biased a little bit. Dollywood is our home park, but we go to Disney. I mean, we see a lot of theme parks, but Dollywood, it's a special place. I think the environment, the way that they treat people, I think just the people that I even have interactions with at the park, it's just Dollywood just
It's
stands
just
alone.
special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really does. So yeah, that's all that I have for this video. I hope you all have enjoyed watching it. I certainly appreciate you being here. Go ahead and like the video. Make sure to subscribe so that you see all of our videos as soon as we post them. Make sure you have the notifications turned on as well. So yeah, that's it. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a blessed day. We have been blessed to bring this video to you, and we'll see you in our next one.